this is Martin Tierney, and I want to give you a few tips for a stand transfer into the chair. It's really important when we do a stand transfer that you get all the way right back into the seat, and I'm going to show you some tips on how to do that. So one important thing is to ensure that the chair is tilted forward as far as possible, because by tilting the chair forward, maybe even into an anterior tilt position, you can lower the front of the seat and make it an easier position to stand in. Now, what you also want to do is retract the leg rest back as far as you can go in order to get a nice, safe, stable standing position. As the person reverses back into the chair, you'll want to encourage them to get their hands on the armrest and make contact with the seat in their lower limbs. And now encourage the person to sit farther back into the chair as far as possible. Now, I'm quite tall, I'm around 6 feet, so it's easy for me to make contact with the back of the seat. But often a person with shorter legs will end up in this position. And if there is a little bit of a gap behind the person, there's a few things you can do to help that person get into a better sitting position. The first thing you can do is to tilt the chair back a little bit. And as you tilt back a little, the person then can get their feet onto the foot plate. And you can either encourage them to do that by themselves, or you can lift the feet onto the foot plate for them. Now, as I'm sitting in this position, gravity is holding me in a more backward position. And it's easier for myself to shuffle back into that position, or if it's appropriate and it's safe to do so, you can lift the person or encourage them to come back, with gravity being their friend, pulling them back into that position where they're further back into the seat. What's also important to consider is the seat depth on the chair. Make sure the seat depth matches the person's leg length and the popliteal height. So it's quite easy to adjust those things on this Sorrento or Phoenix chair. Make that exact to the person's popliteal height and to their seat depth, and encourage them to come all the way back. Now, if it's appropriate to do so with your own manual handling guidelines, you might want to get one hand under the person's arm and another hand right behind their leg and encourage them back into the seat. And often you'll do that with one person on the left and one person on the right. So that's a couple of tips for you. Make sure the chair is an anterior tilt. When you get back into that position, get your hands on the armrest, tilt the chair back, and then encourage the person to shuffle, or if it's appropriate, lift them back a little bit with either the help of another person or with the help of an aid like an overhead hoist or a patient lift or a sling lifter, sometimes they're called. It's really important that you follow your local guidelines for manual handling regulations. So look up what the local regulations are where you live and where you work, and make sure you follow those. There are also videos on seatingmatters.com, and the Clinician Seating Handbook is also a really good resource to give you tips and advice on seating your patient properly.